Hey everyone, welcome to my channel, welcome to a new stream, welcome to what feels like it's getting towards the end of the chapters, working on this guy right here. That is Chip Foose's F-100 by Revell. So, you guys not watching live, you get to watch my intro, so I'll just load it right now. Like I said, we're nearing the end. I got a couple of things to get out of the way here. Like I said, we're getting close to being done. We got our interior bucket done last time. Okay, that's all done. I did spend a little bit of time with my Dremel, as you can see on the sides here. All the paint's been worn away because I wanted to. It has a lip that runs along the edge there on each side, and that was interfering with my body. It didn't want to slide in all the way. It would just hit right there. But removing that edge, this practically drops in just like it's supposed to now. So yeah, it gives me an idea of what that's going to look like when it's in there, right? Gives you a little taste of it too, right? Anyway, so that's that. Let's look in the book and see what's next, because we finished this off. I'll change the camera here and we will get going on here, okay? All right. So, like I said, we finished off our interior bucket last time. We got our dash done, that's all done, okay? So now we're gonna put some glass on the inside of the body. We're gonna put our windows in and we're gonna put our rear view mirror in, okay? So, I'm gonna grab our body and I've got my clear for my windows. I've already pre-painted our, our sun visors. Got those painted black already. So, let's get these off of the sprue. Something like this. Okay, there's one. And then there. Okay, so I'm just going to trim this like that. Those are our headlights. We'll deal with those when the time comes. Now, I want to trim that, file that down. I like using my razor file. This guy here. I love this. It's a glass file. Get this online from all the way from South Korea. It's a company that makes this thing. It is fantastic. I cannot compare it with other glass files because I've never had one other than this. I did watch a YouTube review on this particular file, and the guy said, basically convinced me that it's worth the money, and I would like to thank him. I don't even remember, it was so long ago when I watched that video, but I remember watching that, and yeah, he convinced me that this is far superior to other glass files. I bought it and I love it. I'm not sponsored by them, don't worry. I'm not making any money by plugging that file, but it is just really fantastic. Anyway, we're going to put our windshield in here. That should, in theory, just drop down in there. There's kind of a couple of recesses. Oop. You guys might notice I got a hole in my hood now. Okay, I went to work on the hood the other day and got that hole all done. So yeah, you'll see that later. As I was about to point out, before my hood fell off, you might be able to see in the camera there's a couple of kind of recesses right here, and right here. And that's kind of where our sun visors kind of just sit down into those little recesses there. Once you get it lined up, there we go. They kind of just sit in there. So I'll use some Tamiya extra thin and get that down in there. Since I know it's touching my visor, so running along that visor there. This one too, and as I I can see touching along the edge here. I'm going to change my glasses. Let's do this right. My camera seems to want to focus instead of just fixing. You know, I'm always playing with my camera settings. Okay, so why did I suddenly tip this up? I'm using Tamiya extra thin along the edge. I don't want to put so much that it starts to run. Okay, so I tipped it up like this just in case, right? I'll let that sit for a second. Okay, let that glue cure. Like I said, it's Tamiya extra thin. This is the quick setting, so it's going to set pretty quick for me. So I'm not really worried about that. Okay. Now we have our rear window. Let's see how this guy fits. Looks like a bit of a tight fit. Get him up in there. That's a tight fit. He doesn't want to fit proper. I either have it too high, but I need it high. I'm trying to get it kind of middle. There we go. It's in there now. So I would say you want to have it roughly the same amount of distance from the top, from the bottom there and the top. The same amount of distance around. Don't have it too far up, don't have it too far down. That would be my recommendation. I'm just going to glue the back one. That's pretty tight fit in there, so I'm just going to glue the sides. Utilizing the capillary action of the Tamiya extra thin. There we go. Again, just doing this, let it sit out the way so the glue will not run down on the glass. That's a preventive measure there on my part. Okay, so the glass is in, and we got to do number 69, our little rear view mirror. They show in the diagram there should be a little notch, and yes, there is a little notch right there in the roof, in the middle there. That's where our mirror is going to go. So the mirror is on the chrome sprue. As you can see, I've put my Foose decal on the license plate already in preparation for putting on the rear bumper. So chrome parts, you're either going to use CA glue to glue them, or you're going to remove the chrome from the piece in order for the glue to do its job. So we're going to just scrape away chrome on that tip like that. Okay, and I'm going to use the thicker glue, get this ready, and using my tweezers, this is how I'm going to do it. Okay, put some glue on the tip there, and be mindful of which direction the mirror faces. Get in there. With this glue, if you move the part around too much, the glue basically stops doing its job. So you want to make sure you have it right pretty much the first time. I like doing it so it's almost not quite straight up and down, because usually people have mirrors tilted a little bit, right? Okay, that's done. Now, next step, of course, would be to put on the front cross member across the hood, and of course our front piece, but obviously those are already on. You saw me put these on before, already on this kit when I painted it. That's already done. And a long time ago, put the roof on. That's already on there. We already did that long before I even painted. Okay, so that finishes this page. Looks like next we're going to do our bucket and our bed, which of course we already have done right there. It's already done. We're going to install that onto the chassis. How about that? So we're going to put our cab over here for a minute. Now, I've done lots of little test fits on this already to see how it's going to sit and how it goes. So I already know that this little point here, 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 and here, they line up on these little holes. There's 4 holes right there and there. Okay? What I want to do is scrape a little bit of the paint away on there just to help the glue out a little bit. I don't think I got a lot of paint on this, just a little bit. See that? So I just want to do that because I know that's going to contact the frame. I want to help out the glue. Help the glue do its job. Now I've got all kinds of overspray on this, and if I was really worried about it and how it's going to look underneath, I would go over this with the Mr. Surfacer Black and just give it another touch on this, because you can see it's got a bit of a metallic sheen from overspray when I did the silver, right? But I don't mind it really. It's going to differentiate it from the actual frame when we look at it. If I just put this down over top of it like this, okay, that's how it's going to sit, and you can see that the frame is just flat black, and I like the fact that there's actually a little bit of a metallic on there. It looks like it's different from the frame. Another thing to note, the frame does go into these 2 little notches at the back here like this, and sits in like that. Okay, so that's another gluing point. So on the frame itself, at the back, I'm going to do this, scrape that edge off. Scrape the paint off of that. Okay, and that piece too. And actually, this I believe is the bumper mount that I'm scraping away right now. Let's do a double check. It might be this that I need to do. And I'm correct. So I scraped away the paint for the bumper mount, which is right there, but we'll worry about that later. So I've got to do this other side right here, that piece. I don't know if you saw that, this guy here. I'm just scraping the paint off of that, again, to help the glue do its job. Okay? You can tell by the amount of scraping I'm doing that the paint was pretty thick on there. Okay? And I want to get in on this guy too, in these 2 little notches. I don't know how thick the paint is on that part, but if I can help it a little bit, why not? Okay, so we've got our 6 points of contact. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's where we're going to be putting glue. I'll just put the glue on the frame, and then we'll go from there. And we'll see how this all goes together. So we'll go here, here. Of course, I'm holding it by the points where I'm gluing. That's not good. We've got to glue here, 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 here. All right. I already know these parts are kind of finicky in how they go. In fact, I actually liked putting it on like this, upside down, because I could line it up easier, especially at the back. I think I want to use clips to hold this guy together. There we go. Make this side line up. Actually, you know, I didn't think these were going to line up all that great, but they lined up perfect. There we go. We're all lined up. Okay, so what I'm going to do, now that I've done that, I can use my extra thin to just get in there. In any spots that I missed. There we go. And we can let that sit now. I'm going to use another clip just right there, just to make sure. All right. Let that dry. This is down now. So now we're going to do the interior bucket, but we've got to do some work on our rear frame. See, the bucket sits into these two little channels. This guy here, and of course one on this side. And that's where these two little rails are going to fit. Right there and right there. You see those rails? Okay. Certain angles I can show you the rails. This guy here and this guy here. Okay. They sit in those little channels. So again, in interest of helping out the glue, just scrape off that edge a little bit. There we go. Okay, got the paint off of that. Now, how are we going to get into this little channel there without touching anything else? I can try my little file, see how that fits in there. It actually fits in that. You might be thinking, why are you doing this while you're waiting for the glue to dry? Because it allows me, I don't have to press too hard. All I'm trying to do is get some of the, scrape the paint away. That file is actually just a little too big, so I'm going to use this one. This has got a little fine point on it. And I just want to run it in that channel. Just to take a layer or two, get some clear coat off of there, maybe some of the blue, you know. Here we go. This side. I watched one guy building this kit, and he used something like Gorilla Glue or something to glue the chassis, to glue the body or the interior down onto the chassis. I thought, well, that's unique and different. But to each his own. Okay. In theory, this will line up and sit right where it's supposed to. And hey, it does. How about that? Okay. Fortunately, this is at a part on the chassis that really isn't going to be seen. So if you put a little bit of too much glue and it's spurting out or something like that, that's okay, because it is going to be covered by the body. And that's right in its spot where it's supposed to be, so that is perfect. I'm going to double it up with a little extra thin on there though. Just to make sure. All right. Our interior is glued in. Can you guess what's next? Next would be the body. The body's got to go on. Our main cab. She's all ready. So this just slides down over, just like I showed you before. If we've done our job right, it's all going to fit in perfect. like I said, if I've done my job right. But I've noticed I've got a situation here that I had not had until just now. I've always lined up the body with the radiator actually tucked right up to its thing there. But now that I put the body down, it's not lining up in the rad. The body's sitting, the cab's sitting a little forward. But we're in. You know, it's a little ironic. This radiator is supposed to go right up tight. It's possible that I didn't have to really put my little fake shroud over the rad. So the question now is, where do I glue the cab at the back? Where do I glue the cab at the back? I've actually got just a hair of the body that I'm going to have to kind of compress it down a little bit. Got a little bit of, like, it wants to lift. So I'm thinking, if I can pull that off, I'm starting to understand a little bit why that guy put the extra strong glue on his interior to glue it down to the base. Because as you put the cab on, it wants to lift. It kind of wants to separate these two a little bit. It's kind of hard to show you guys. They might show it in the diagram of the frame. It's going to be hard to show you, but right here on the chassis, okay, right there and there, there's two little pieces that stick up, and what they are is they're kind of a hook shape. They're shaped like this, and they sit on the frame. And every time I did a test fit with the body, I had this part of the cab sitting right in between, like this, right? They just sit like that, go doink, and that's how I had it sitting in a little channel each time. But now that this is actually on the truck, I find that those two little things, the edge of the box is actually in that channel, and the cab sits in front of them, which is why now the cab is sitting forward as far as the way I had the rad lined up and everything like that for how straight up and down I needed it. And so that's why my fitment is a little bit weird right now. Now, as for where I need to glue, I'm going to put some glue not on the body here, but on the sides of the bucket. I'm going to spread some glue along here so that when the cab slides down over it, it makes contact with the glue and glues there, as well as glue on the front here where the cab, these two little notches here and here, slide down over that. Doesn't look like I've got any paint I need to remove there, so I'm good that way. Okay, so that's how I'm going to do that. Okay, so glue along here. I'm not sure, 100% sure where all the contact is being made, so that's why I'm just kind of slathering the glue. so that when it slides down, it'll be in its home and it'll be happy. I'd like to get the frame all the way in, like this. It's a little tight. One side's tight, one side's not. That's okay. Okay, I've got it all the way down. I'm just going to hold it for a minute. This is where I'd love it if I had some kind of clips that could actually, they're so customizable to be like fingers like this, but I don't. And that's the way it is, but that's fine. And yeah, I've got great big 5-pound clamps. I don't want to use those. That's just too heavy-handed. Okay. This one, I don't know if there's anything I can do about it, making it stay there without using CA glue. This one will stay no problem. It's happy to be there. The other one, however, is not necessarily cooperating. So, I think I am going to use some CA glue on this one. So let's just put this down. I'll get my CA glue going here. Sometimes you just need to resort to the big guys. And of course my glue has clogged up the tip again on me. So I'll just... Seems every time I use this stuff now it clogs up the end. There we go. Okay, so with one hand holding this, I get right in that hole. And we'll squeeze it together. And use some accelerator. Like I've said before, I don't like spraying this stuff. I just like to put a drop of it on there and let it do its thing. And now, just in case it's thinking of letting go after I let go, just put a little more and reinforce it. There we go. She's holding. And like I said, I got a space there. I don't like that. There's not much I can do about it though. There we go though. Body's on. Okay. I'm going to give you a preview of the hood. I'll give you a little preview of the hood now that we've got the big hole there. I did wind up getting a scratch in there. I don't like that, but I can't do anything. I've already painted it with everything. I'm basically done, so it is what it is. Here's the hood. Drop the hood down, get that lined up. So yeah, see, now I've got more carving to do because the body's sitting forward, which means my hole for that is too far forward. That really sucks. And because of the hole being there, my hood won't sit down proper. But there's a preview of what it's going to be like. Okay, I obviously have more work to do. That really sucks having that big gaping hole there, but whatever. It is what it is. Okay. the body's on. We're done there. Flip. We've got our front grille and our front bumper. First though, we've got to put headlights in it, okay? So, I've already painted our signal lights clear orange, okay? We've got to put our headlights in. This guy gets to sit over by himself now for a little while his glue dries, okay? So, and I'm just going to do this so that I can think a little bit here. So, normally I just use the Tamiya Extra Thin and I put the lights in. Something I have noticed though is after a short time they tend to look more white than clear, okay? And so I've decided I want to try something different. I've seen guys use, you know, the white glue. I can't remember what it's called. Wood glue, Elmer's glue, school glue, you know, that white glue we all grew up with in school. Guys use that for their clear parts. I've seen plenty of guys use that. I never have. For some reason I always thought, you know, that stuff is for paper and wood. Why are you using it on plastic? It doesn't work on plastic. But I guess obviously it does. So I could try that. There's basically a headlight in there. It basically looks white just as it is. Doesn't that just look white to you? Even let's do that. It looks white, right? So I don't think I need to bother with anything fancy. I'm just going to use my Tamiya Extra Thin like I normally would. Make sure our lines are straight. There we go. Okay. Next one. Sorry, so we're looking at the top of my head. Just trying to make sure they're not crooked. There. Pretty close. There. Headlight lenses are in. We can trim off or get this off of the tree. We also need our front bumper. And while I'm at it, I might as well put the taillights in the rear bumper. We've got the little red tree here, two little red lenses that go into the rear bumper here. Realize that is one of the few actual custom things that Revell did for this kit to make it Foose's. There's a lot of parts of this kit that are basically just their regular F-100 kit that they didn't do anything different on to make it different. Hey, it fits in there perfect. How about that? A little bit of the Extra Thin. There you go. It's got a new home. How about that? This one here. Fits in there perfect. Just like that. And he's got his new home ready for when I'm ready for him. Now, I've got a little couple blemishes there. I'm gonna fix that. take a look, see where I scraped that off. I'm going to see how visible that's going to be before I actually put it on. Basically, the back of our lights line up with these two little dimples, and with the lights in there, that you can't see my little imperfections. So that's absolutely perfect. But what I do need to do, in order to get the glue to stick, I've got to get the chrome off of these little tips. Okay, so that requires a little bit of scraping. A little bit of work here just to scrape the chrome off of that, otherwise the glue won't stick. And any edge that you figure you're going to glue, you need to remove the chrome from. Okay, so that means chrome's got to go from this edge also, just like that. Now if you figure you're going to glue the edge along here, then you got to scrape the chrome off of that edge too, right? I don't think I need to do that. I think our two little nubs are probably good enough to hold this piece in place. So I'm just going to glue them. There we go. Okay, so pick this guy up again, and just for added measure, take my file, edge, and I'll just kind of go in here. As you can see, it doesn't take a lot to remove the paint, but just wanting to make sure. There we go. Okay, glue. Both spots. Dropped into place. And that's where he sits. There we go. Now we'll focus on the bumper. Bumper's got these two little notches there that we need to clean out. That's where the glue's going to go, which means that's where the chrome has to go. Okay, and you can be like me and use a little file too. That works also. Just get in there, scrape away the chrome, just like that. Just like that. Maybe you can't get all 100% of the edges cleaned or out every little corner, but you need to get at least some spot that the glue can actually do its work. Otherwise you're going to be using the CA glue, right? CA glue of course glues anything together, but if you just want to use regular model glue, then you need to help it out. I got two little nubs at the bottom there I need to clean up before I put this on. Which also means this is going to be the bottom of the bumper. Okay. Okay, now I've got those ugly white marks. That's where the Molotow chrome comes in. Molotow liquid chrome. This stuff is a very good substitute for chrome. I know, some guys, you guys don't like you don't like the kit chrome, everybody wants to strip the chrome from the model kits and repaint them with Alclad 2 or something like that. But I'm quite happy with kit chrome. After all, chrome is supposed to be bright and shiny, especially on a custom car like this where it's basically done, you know, if a car's been custom built by a guy who does that kind of stuff for a living. It's not just some guy in his garage restoring a car. Okay, glue on the tips of our chassis, there and there. Grab our bumper, right way around. Lined up. We've got a little issue here in the fitment. Doesn't quite, it's close to fitting properly, but not quite. So I'm going to put this down and hope it stays, but I don't think it's going to stay. It might. It's really hard to say. Okay. Anyway, we'll see how that holds. Of course, the next step is the rear bumper, which we then put on the back. I've already scraped off the paint off the back, but I haven't scraped it on the bumper, obviously. So let's get the bumper off the sprue. Guys, I think we're going to finish this build tonight. I think we're going to actually finish it. Okay, let's scrape away our little spots here. Where it connects here. I think that's where it connects, there and there. Let's have a check. Yep, those spots. Let's do a test fit before I got glue committed to it. So the rear bumper fits perfect. No problem. So I don't know why the front one is a little weird. Glue on those tips off camera. Sorry, guys. Of course, yeah, oh, it fits perfectly as I fumble around trying to get it lined up. I don't know why. Every time I test fit a part, it fits perfect, and then I put glue on it and it doesn't fit. There we go. Rear bumper's installed. Okay. 3 more pieces and we are finished. I got the gas cap and our 2 door handles. Gas cap's going to be fun. I'm going to leave it on the sprue while I scrape it. Like I said, I told you already, you got to get the chrome off of the piece where you're going to glue it, otherwise the glue won't hold. It just won't hold. The same with our door handles. We've got little knobs. think I'm going to try and just file the tip rather than scrape it. Sometimes filing it is a little bit easier than scraping it. Okay, let's start with the gas cap. It does have a particular direction it's supposed to go in, so I'm trying to get that lined up with my fingers first. Just seeing if I got it backwards or not. It's really hard to tell whether I got it right or not, because the way it sits on the little notch seems to be the same either way. I do not know which is right. I don't feel like going to reference photos at this point in time to see which way is going to be correct. So there you go, the gas cap's on. Next, door handles. I know a lot of guys, I've seen some guys just custom make door handles for these things because these are kind of out of scale. They're a little bit big. As you can tell, I'm scraping away some extra flash that's on this to make it look a little more presentable. There are holes on the side for you to line these up and do that. You can be like me and fumble around with it. It sits just like that. Okay. Just like that. Here's one door handle on. Okay. I'll have to touch up with the chrome on it, but that won't be too hard to do. Okay. The other handle, let's take a look at it. This one does not require nearly as much cleanup. Just a little bit around the lock knob, or the push button, I guess. There we go. There we go. And the other door handle's on. All right, we got our handles on. The actual assembly is complete. She's done. What I need to do to say she's actually done is carve out our hood. Okay? Because the hood don't fit quite right. She's close, but she's not quite right. So I need to do a little filing right there. That's a little better. And we're going to go back here a little bit. What I'm actually going to do is use my knife. It's a little bit nerve-wracking doing this, I will admit, because you're carving out a perfectly good piece, and it's a lot of trial and error, it's a lot of test fitting and stuff like that. And sometimes, you know, you go too far on one side, and then you want it to look even, you want it the same on both sides, but you've gone too far. And yeah, so now you've got basically just made yourself a whole huge hole in your hood that doesn't look right. And that's kind of what's happened to me here. Because now that the body is on where it's supposed to be, and the engine is sitting where it does, my blower doesn't sit exactly in the middle, and it's sitting a lot further back than what I had anticipated. And yeah, one of those things. I'd say we're almost there, but not quite. And I'm sorry if I keep carving this off camera, but I need it close to myself to stay in control of my knife, so I only take little bits off at a time. Just a little more. Kind of sucks. You gotta take so much material off on the one side to get it to match with the other side. right at the tip, just barely there. We're just about there. Hey, we're on. Our hood's on. I got a little bit I need to do still. The other thing I like to do, I do it on the hood. I should do it on my fenders, but I don't do it. But I don't for some reason. I do it on my hoods. Is I shave them down so that they look thinner at the edge, so you don't see this big flat edge of plastic. But anyway, there we go. The hood is on. Like I said, my carving leaves a lot to be desired. It's not perfect. It's by any stretch of the word, but just to say, so that I can say I'm actually done, I see what I like to do is carve on an angle like this. Okay, I'm not straight up and down, I'm on an angle, so that when I carve, I'm actually thinning it out, making it so that there's like no edge visible when you're looking at it from the outside. Yeah, it looks like crap on this side, but that's okay. The hood's down all the time, right? So I shave this down like that. And then of course I paint it black so that it looks normal when you do take the hood off. It doesn't look ridiculous. So I'll just take some flat black. Now the kit does have hood hinges. I'm not going to bother. I don't see a need for hood hinges. That I'm never going to have the hood lifted. So like I said, I don't see a need for them. I'm not going to put them on. There we go. Touch that up. So there's no white. Leave that to dry for a minute. Clean my brush, and we'll say she's done. Clean my brush. I would say the most difficult part with this kit was the customization of the engine and radiator, and of course putting that big hole in the hood, the big necessary and strange hole in the hood that's not really that great. I've done better jobs in the past. I'm sure I'll do a better job in the future. This one I didn't do very well, but it's not anything to cry about. It looks pretty cool. When I've got it sitting on the shelf, it's going to look pretty cool. I'll give you guys a little. There you go, with the little blowers, little air intake sticking out, just like that, just to show you this is a special machine. Okay, it looks pretty good. Anyway, she's done, guys. She's done. All done. There's nothing more to do other than take a few pictures and put it up on my Instagram for you guys. You can take a look at the still pictures when I get those loaded up on there, if you so choose. But I want to show you guys this. I'm going to be doing this one soon, or I'm actually going to be doing a couple of them. Me and my fiance are going to get together, and we're going to do that when I hit 1,000 subscribers. So look forward to that. Like I said, when I hit 1,000 subscribers, that means you guys who don't subscribe, you got to subscribe to me. And when you do that, you'll get to see the build of that guy with my fiance, and who has never done a model in her life. She's going to learn the ropes, and we'll see if she wants to do a second one after that or not, but that's to be determined. Anyway, I want to thank you guys for watching. Thanks for coming out, and thanks for all the support and all the new subscribers I've gotten recently. That's awesome, guys. Thank you so much. So my next build though is probably not going to be the Porsche. I'm thinking maybe a tank. So, but we'll see. I haven't determined just yet. I haven't made up my mind quite yet. We will see though. So, until then, we'll see you all in the next one.